Welcome, friends. Today, we're doing another fragrance rotation video for the week ending the 3rd of August, 2025. Tremendous. That is right, my friends. Once again, I have returned to you, this time with another fragrance rotation video. And this week has been pretty steady away. If I'm being honest, weather-wise, it's been of an average temperature with an average kind of ambience. Not much rain, not much sun, you know, just typically British meh. You know what I mean? Let's have a look at what fragrances I've worn. Mostly niche, I would say, mostly niche. Couple of designers in there, you know, couple of designers. One fragrance I haven't worn for a little while. Two fragrances I haven't worn for a little while. One considerably longer than the other, though. But I will come on to that. But first, a fragrance that I have worn very recently, and that was on Monday. And the fragrance is Roadster. Roadster by Cartier. Roadster by Cartier. Not sure if I've reviewed this yet, actually. I can never remember what I've reviewed, you know. There's not many fragrance reviews knocking about these days, is there? Really? It's just mostly people selling shite online. Being told what to say, given talking points and bullet points. It's absolutely rotten. It would be nice if people just talked about the fragrances that they bought and loved. But they don't, because they're looking to make money. Oh well. I reckon most people will figure out who's what and what's who in the next 5-10 years when it comes to influencers and marketing and all that sort of thing. I think that that job might not last long, actually, because it's going to be taken up by AI. Anyway, how did I get onto that? This is Roadster. If I haven't reviewed it, I will review it, because I think it's absolutely lovely. Managed to get myself some backups this week at a very good price, but I didn't have to buy 3, but I did buy 3, you know, and I was very fortunate, and I am very happy because not too long ago, I think I only had 1 after this bottle, and it's been discontinued. Shit. I think they discontinued this when they discontinued the watch. Oh. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Anyway, this is what I wore on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the first of the 2 fragrances that I haven't worn for a while. And this is called Garrig by Maître Parfumeur Cartier. MPG. This is one of the original MPGs from 1988. It is very aromatic. It's lots of sage, clary sage, juniper, rosemary, lavender, a little bit of musk, a little bit of sandalwood maybe, rosemary, tons of that, all the aromatics. Thyme, yes. Not the 4th dimension, the plant. It's very nice, but you do need to reapply this version. I've got a vintage, but you need to reapply this version, you know, 4 or 5 hours after you've first applied it. That's fine. I managed to get this bottle for about 25 quid on the line, you know. It's fantastic. It's just a little bit different. It's dry, aromatic, and there's nothing there to save it. There's no sort of wetness. It just stays very dry and sheer, and it's really good. Quite shaven foamy, but more spicy. More kind of, spicy's not the word, dry. Anyway, Speaking of dry, I wore another dry fragrance on Wednesday, but it was a very different kind of dry fragrance, you know. And this is Grey Vetiver. Grey Vetiver is incredibly dry. Excuse me. This is the eau de parfum. It's one of the original Tom Fords as well. Is it? No, that's not true. It's not one of the original Tom Fords. The original Tom Fords came out in 2007. This came out in 2009. But this is an incredible fragrance. It was huge 10 years ago in Fragcom. Everybody used to talk about it all the time. And nobody talks about it anymore, but they should. Swines. This is lots and lots of vetiver, sage again, something a little dry and spicy, a little bit of iris, oak moss, and vetiver, and all of the notes in there are the dry aspects and components of those notes. You know, it's almost caustic how dry it is. It's like a dry martini, like a dry white wine sort of thing, you know? Without that, is it sour? I don't know that it is sour. There's nothing in there that would make you salivate. It's all very, very drying, you know? Definitely leave your mouth dry kind of fragrance. It's absolutely wonderful though, especially in heat, especially in soot. It was made by Harry Fremont. Harry Fremont made quite a few fragrances which are a little bit older than most. I don't know if he's still active. I might be wrong. I might be thinking of someone completely different there. You'd think I'd be prepared, wouldn't you? But you would be wrong. Anyway, let's have a look. Thursday, I wore this. I mentioned this on a stream with Galen recently, and I have been wearing it quite a bit since. I've been thinking about wearing it quite a bit since. This is Viking by Creed. This has got an absolutely terrible rep, mainly because it isn't a Ventness. I still haven't forgiven people for thinking that this is the sequel to a Ventness, because it's not. That's Royal Oud. But people don't see it like that because they're dickheads mainly. This is Peppermint. Peppermint, very interestingly, I bought a material by LMR recently. I got a lavender, I got a patchouli, and I got a peppermint. And I got the peppermint from LMR. I don't think that's what's in here because the material from LMR smells like baby vomit. It's gross. It's very gross. Not minty at all. This is fresh spicy mint. Bergamot. Peppery. A little bit clovey as well. You know. So it's got some clove going on in there. Lots and lots of lavender for me. A little bit of like rose. A little bit spicy. And then in the base, it's got that kind of vetiver, sandalwood, musk type of thing. Hasn't got the ambergris ambroxan thing that Creed became really famous for. It's like one step removed from that. So it's kind of like a vintage Creed, kind of not at the same time. But infinitely better than the shit they're pumping out at the minute, though. Can't be dealing with that crap. Awful sense. Friday, I'll tell you what is not an awful scent, friends. I will tell you what is not an awful scent at all. And that is Geranium pour Monsieur. Geranium pour Monsieur. I have been loving this again, even though it hasn't been the highest of high heat. I've worn this a couple of times when it's rained, and it's actually really nice. Gives it like a kind of a wet feel, you know? It's quite runny. It's quite, like, fluid in the way it is. It's just fantastic. Again, unsure if I've reviewed this. I feel comfortable that I would be able to review it if I haven't. But if I have, go and watch that review. It's a wonderful fragrance, this. One of the most underrated Malles. I think Malle's about to go through a bit of an apocalypse, actually. Either reformulations if they haven't already happened, and or discontinuations, but I'll save that for another video, friends. Saturday I wore something I haven't worn for a while, and I absolutely loved it, if I'm being honest. This is Eau du Sud. Eau du Sud by Goutal. Not sure if they still make this. This gave me big Eau Sauvage vibes when I smelled it. It's got that bergamot, green citrus, fresh vintage men's fragrance with like a big oak moss and vetiver in there, but this has got a big lime note, which I absolutely love. It's also got like a dry greenness too, from galbanum. There's a bit of basil appears in here, basil, and it's never talked about. I should review this as well. Good God. I should review this as well. I really rate this. I could compare it to Eau Sauvage too. I've got vintage bottles of both. But those old dry men's colognes have been really, I say colognes, but you know, dry men's fragrances that were in fashion a long time ago. This came out, Eau du Sud came out in 1997. It smells like a fragrance from 20 or 30 years earlier, if I'm being honest with you. And then I realised that this Eau du Sud came out nearly 30 years ago from now as well. And I was like, oh God, 1997 is as far away from 1996 as it is from 2027. How the oh God, time is absolutely devastating, friends. Absolutely ruinous. But this is a wonderful fragrance. Stop my lamenting. Let us move on today. Well, this week I did a video ranting about fragrance layering, and I got mega responses. I think I got about 75 comments on the video before I responded to any. Fuck. So that took a while. But I decided today that I would do some layering. Fuck it. The fragrance I layered today was Orangere Sirocco. There's going to be a review coming on this as well, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I used the Extrait Absolute with the Eau de Parfum, the only acceptable form of layering. I will talk about that in my review. Now to remember to do all of these things. That's it, everybody. Thanks very much. I'll see you again soon.